today with Candy Vargas. She's a young active member of our community and a person who strives day to day to make a difference. So first of all, thank you, Candy, for being here with us. And I know you're from Bakersfield, so kind of explain to us, how did you make it out to Stockton?
Well, I've been in Stockton for about 6 years now. I came out to attend the University of the Pacific with the aspiration of becoming a music major at the Rhetoric of Music. But it wasn't everything that I thought it was going to be. So I realized that that literature was something that I wanted to pursue and kind of was more of a focus of mine, and that's what I ended up doing.
Now, I know education has always been a big part of your life. You were the valedictorian in high school. But talk to us, where does your value in education comes in?
I'd have to say it comes from my mom, the one that's instilled all of our educational goals and values. She always talked about how it was something that would get us further in life, because we grew up pretty impoverished and we didn't have a lot of money or a lot of things, and she said that if we wanted to do more, education was the way to pursue everything, all of our dreams and goals in life.
Now, I know your mom passed away, not too long ago. But how has that made you change your views somehow, or has contributed to you become the person who you are today?
I kind of feel like it hasn't, well, in the sense that life is fleeting. Maybe that's a change, but it's kind of fortified and reinstilled, like all of the things that she has given to us, and made me, I guess, like anyone who's lost a parent, value more the things that that your parents shared with you. And so that's how I feel like it may have changed me, but it kind of just made me the person I am, but just a little more,
Stronger version of
stronger version of me, exactly.
Now, you're currently working at the Charter House Center for Families, and you volunteer at the Women's Center. So when does this passion for working with families and kids and mentoring other people comes in? Because you major in literature, like you mentioned before. So why inspire you? Was there like a moment in your life, or what is it that's making you want to do all these things?
I feel like it was the moment when I went to study abroad. Well, I mean, growing up, I felt like I always wanted to help people and wanted to work with people, and but I wasn't quite sure, I guess like a lot of young people going into college, exactly how to take that avenue or which direction to take, and trying to do that. So I went to study abroad in Lima, Peru, and it's kind of where I was able to do a little more soul searching and figure out what I really liked and how I wanted to do what I wanted to do. And there is where I was able to volunteer at a girls' home called Mundo Libre, and it was kind of a shelter for adolescent girls between the ages of 12 and 19 who had abused drugs or had been abused or lived in the streets, and I really enjoyed it. And not only that, but that was like, I don't know, it was the highlight of my trip. And a lot of people didn't end up sticking with it. Out of 35, I was one of the only ones who stayed in. So I had a talk with my coordinator, and she said, this is something that you enjoy and something you should look into. So when I came back, I realized that that's what I wanted to do, and that's how I wanted to fulfill my duty to the public.
But you mentioned before that you can relate to them. How do you feel that you can relate to these kids so that you can contribute to them?
Sure. Well, a lot of them didn't have a very high economic status, and so I mean, growing up, I didn't have very much either. And my dad wasn't the most, reliable person in my life, and there was a lot of like domestic violence in my household. And my mom, through all of that, she was still able to take care of us and to instill the importance of education and still love us, even through all of that, So I felt like not only did we experience it through her, but we experienced it on our own, and I was able to relate to the girls who had experienced that type of abuse as well, and relate to them, and, know that there's hope still, and that they didn't have to give up, and that they could still follow their dreams and succeed in life.
Now, what did you do? You had and all of these obstacles. What was your method to succeed in life, kind of thing?
I guess I would have to go back to my mom, because she was always able to see the brighter side of things, even though things look very gloomy and gray. She was always able to see the positive and always see a future and not get stuck in the doom and gloom of things at the time. So she knew that our life was not going to be so easy, but still that it would be easier if we had our education, you know. And so I feel like that was kind of the way I was able to get out of it all, because I always say it was a miracle that my brother and I were able to have like a successful education and graduate, and still going on to pursue post-grad and pursue our careers. And I felt like she is our miracle, because without her we wouldn't have been able to do it, because every young person needs an inspiration, needs support, needs love, and I felt like we got that from her.
And you said inspiration, love, and that's what you are doing right now at Charter House.
Yeah.
To do that for other kids.
Yeah, I do.
But you're also going back to school. Why? When do you decide to go back to school? You're getting your master's in public administration, right? How do you decide to go back to school?
Well, I definitely had to take a year off after I graduated from the University of Pacific, because that was, my mother passed away the month that I graduated. So I took a year off, and I just kind of mourned, I guess you could say, but I figured out that that to better serve the public, that public administration was the public service kind of direction, and that's what I wanted to do, to be a better public servant for San Joaquin County.
Right. But I mean, we can't forget that you study literature. What is it about literature that you like? I mean, to major in it, you really like it. You must be really passionate about it. What is it that you like about it?
And especially Spanish literature, there's a lot of struggle, and the authors are very, they describe things in a way where they don't cover anything up. You know, they're just like very passionate, and it was kind of a way for me to see myself in a different way. And it kind of, I feel like, allowed me to express a lot of the things that I had experienced and relate to different authors and different events through history. And it just made me feel like I was not alone, kind of in a way, and that it helped me to also fortify who I was, because I knew that Spanish literature was something that I wanted to pursue in my college career, as well as something else. So it was like I ended up, you know, not studying music, but I was always going to study Spanish literature. I was going to do a double major, and I felt like that was something, a part of myself that I always wanted to strengthen, because it was a part of my culture. And I was educated my whole life in English, and I felt like, well, you know, I grew up in a Spanish-speaking community, and I grew up, you know, with my whole family is like, you know, Mexican American, but that did not reflect my education, you know. So I wanted to make sure that I supplemented that part of my life, and that I was able to communicate with my community in an educational sense as well. So I don't know if that explains
No,
it,
it does.
but like,
and going through, you know, doing some research, I found this quote that you like, and I'm just going to read it, and maybe you can explain to us why do you like it. But it says, when something is meant to be, the universe conspires to make it possible. And it's it's a quote by one of Paolo Coelho, right? Yeah, he's a very famous author. Now, why do you like it? What's so special about this quote that you like it?
Because, oh man, it kind of says it in itself, but like, the odds were kind of against us growing up, like, that we wouldn't, you know, like we were talking before about how the person that I grew up with as like my female, my cousin, so she was like the person I was most close to, because we were the same age and we were family and stuff. I didn't have a sister growing up, but when we were growing up, like, when she was 14, she ended up getting pregnant. So it's just like, I didn't feel like that was the direction or avenue that I wanted to go. So like, it wasn't really the environment that I was going to be around to make me successful in life and to pursue my education. And even though that kind of seemed like a downer, in the end, things happen for me so that it can happen, you know? So it was just like, I don't know, something happened, you know? So like,
it's the universe.
Yeah, exactly. So you can't really explain it. Some people call it the universe, some people call it divine entity, some people, it's something, you know, that's just his way of saying it. But it's just like, I felt like that was kind of what happened.
No,
almost
you're
like a miracle.
You're also very active in the community with the Young Democrats of San Joaquin. Explain to me, what makes you want to go and knocking on people's door and saying, hey, vote for this person or this other person, but just vote?
Yeah.
What makes you want to go up there?
Well, because I feel like people need to decide for themselves who is going to be their leader in the community. Because we don't have a very high voter turnout. And that just means that we're allowing other people to make those decisions for us. And we need to be active, and we need to be able to choose who our leaders are. That way we can be represented as well. And we, I mean like everybody, you know, not just a select group of people. And I feel like it's very important for people to exercise their right to vote and to be involved in the community. I personally feel like I need to give back because I came from a place where I didn't really always get to decide what happened in my life. And now I can, and I feel like everyone should be able to exercise that right. Even though they don't see that they can, there's still always a possibility. I mean, everyone has the right to vote, and that's something that everyone can contribute to their own life.
Now, I'm going back to your family life. You're fourth generation Mexican.
Depending on how you count it, yeah.
How do you keep your traditions alive when so many generations have passed by? And I see you still embrace your culture so much, you know, just talking to you. How do you do it, or who taught you those traditions? Was there like a person, your grandma? Or?
Well, I always tell myself and my friends that like well, how do you say it? What I inherited from my mother was my tradition, and also like cooking and things like that. But that was one of the greatest inheritance that I got from her. Not only like the love of my education, but also like our cultures and our, you know, all of the little things that we did to make a holiday special. So, but the town that we came into, like our Spanish-speaking town, Lamont, is like in California. So it was just like everyone there spoke Spanish. So that's how I was able to hold on to that, because everyone around me also held those traditional, you know, observances. So it's really interesting.
How do you balance now work, school, and then these other organizations that you volunteer in? How do you balance everything and try to make everything right?
Well, Android, my calendar, my Google Calendar. But I mean, I don't have any kids right now, so I feel like that now is the time that I'm able to invest my youth, you know, into the community. And so, and my husband's very active as well, so it's kind of like neat that we also get to tag team a lot of things. And just, I don't know, that's how we do it. We just like organize ourselves. Yeah, we just keep, but we make sure we have fun too, you know, like, and a lot of the things that we do may seem very cumbersome and laborsome to some people, but we feel like it's important. So for us, it's more of a passion than work, you know, so it's like we're fulfilling a goal in our personal lives as well as, you know, providing a service to the community. So it's just, it's everything to us, I feel like. But I really enjoy doing all the things that I do and being able to provide these types of services.
Do you think that more people of our age should be involved?
Definitely. Oh my gosh, I love talking to young people, even younger than myself, like, you know, high school, junior high, even the little kids, and letting them know that they can make a difference in the community. And there's so many young people that are so bright. All of them, I feel like all young people are bright. You know, they all have the capability of doing something in the community. So I always encourage young people to do something. And it doesn't have to be one thing in particular. It can be anything that they're passionate in, you know. Like, I mean, there's some people that enjoy performing different types of, you know, arts, like, you know, musical or, you know, artist, just different things. So I feel like any way they can get involved, they should. Because that, I don't know, that's just going to make them a lot happier, and other youth a lot.
You know, just seeing you talking about community, you get so passionate about it, you get the smile on your face.
Yeah.
Is that something that you see yourself doing in the future? Is that what you're going to be doing?
Yeah.
Would that be Candy in 10 years?
Probably.
Well, thank you, Candy, for being here with us and sharing a little bit more of who you are, and I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for having me.